Well, folks, today we're going to kind of just take a little slowdown and we're going to be talking about President Trump's nominees to lead executive branch departments. Now, we want to give you an update. Where are they at in the confirmation process? Who's already been confirmed? You know, where are Democrats kind of really grandstanding on something? Just kind of give you the whole layout for where we at. But before we get into it, if you're new here, drop down below, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you never miss another video from us. Always stay in the loop with what's going on. Now, first, we're going to start with the nominees that President Trump has gotten over the finish line. Most notably, President Trump got Marco Rubio. I shouldn't say most notably, but he was the first one to get across the finish line, and he had basically zero opposition to him. And that is going to be Secretary of State Marco Rubio here. Now, Marco, he obviously was a GOP senator from Florida. He ran for president in 2016 against President Trump, most famously only won in the primaries of the state of Minnesota. Now, he was on the Senate Intelligence Committee and a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. He is really a foreign policy hawk. He is hawkish on China, Cuba, Iran. He's not about appeasing them like the prior administration was. Now, Rubio was confirmed, like I said, 99-0. The missing senator there obviously was the vacant seat for J.D. Vance at the time, before John Husted was nominated by Ohio's governor to Mike DeWine to fill that seat there. But he was the first one to get across the finish line. And so far, Marco Rubio has hit the ground running. Already made a trip to Panama and about 5 other South American countries, talking with Panama's their president over what's going on at the Panama Canal. He was able to negotiate with Panama to get them to end a infrastructure initiative that they had been a part of that was with China. So Marco Rubio already been confirmed. Now, John Ratcliffe, let's see, where do we have John Ratcliffe? He is a CIA director. He had pretty much bipartisan support. He was confirmed back on January 23rd. He got 74 votes for him to 25 now. And he has promised to prioritize work, to develop in the workforce and the technological advancements of the CIA. So it's very much, he got over the finish line here. Now, Pete Hegseth, he was probably the most controversial. It's like really probably the most controversial. He had severe opposition from the Democrats. There were even some Republicans who weren't very keen on the idea. But ultimately, he got across the finish line. Now, he got 51 to 50 votes. All Democrats voted against him, plus 3 Republicans, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, all voted against him. And J.D. Vance, like I said, had to cast that tie-breaking vote to make sure he got over the finish line. And already, as the head of the Department of Defense, he has already taken really drastic steps to eliminate DEI in the department and condemning former Secretary of Defense for his comments on diversity. You know, it was a big thing that under the former administration that diversity was their greatest strength. And now which is totally a joke, diversity should not be our greatest strength in our military. And Pete Hegseth has put it perfectly. Unity is our greatest strength. Our unit cohesion. That is our greatest strength, not our diversity. Now, some other notable people that got over the finish line, Kristi Noem, who was the Director of Homeland Security, already in contacts, and I should say, working with Tom Hom and the border czar to get as many illegal immigrants out of the country as possible. And I would say at this point, the numbers of the arrest and deportation have been pretty depressing, and I think there should be a little bit of outrage that we need to be moving at a faster pace when it comes to this. We need to be arresting and deporting more people than 500, 600, 700 people a day, if you're asking me. Another person who got across the line who's been really instrumental so far in the Trump administration is going to be Scott Bessent. Let's see. He's a Treasury Secretary. Obviously, we're making a lot of changes. Trump already came out, said that we're not going to be minting any more pennies. We're going to be creating a sovereign wealth fund. There's a lot of things that Scott's been an instrumental part of so far. And he got about 68 votes to 29 as secretary. So pretty much he got a bipartisan share of the vote. President Trump got his pick for the Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, across the board. What a huge upgrade. You go from Pete Buttigieg, who he was basically in that place because he liked trains and he was gay, and that's kind of what the Democrats are looking for in the male figures in their party. Was pretty bad at his job. Went missing for like 2 months because he adopted a kid. Didn't go to East Palestine when there was a huge train derailment there. But obviously Trump got him across the line here with Sean Duffy. Lee Zeldin with the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Lee Zeldin's going to be huge in getting a lot of Trump's energy policies across the board, especially when it comes to permitting processes. Lee Zeldin had a couple Democrats that supported him. We got 56 votes for him. But surprisingly, Governor Gavin Newsom's already come out and has praised Lee Zeldin for being on the ground in California and really being instrumental in the recovery in California after these, the Palisade wildfires that started. Obviously didn't get the most bipartisan support, but you have a major California Democrat coming out and saying that he maybe doesn't support him, but that he's done a great job so far. And then Trump has also got his Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, across the board. He also got Chris Wright, who is the Energy Secretary. Doug Collins, who's going to lead the VA. Obviously, there's going to be a lot when it comes to DOGE at the VA. There's a lot of wasteful spending that happens at the VA. And Trump and Musk are going to go in there, and obviously we can't save money at the expense of veterans. If anything, we should go into debt for the expense of veterans because they went into debt for us. We owe a debt of gratitude to them for serving our country honorably. But then also Pam Bondi, who got across the finish line, she's going to be huge. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much right now, but Pam Bondi going to be instrumental to the Department of Justice going through getting the woke crap out of the Department of Justice. And really, there's major changes that we need in the Attorney General's office. Really focusing on cases that matter, not going after pro-life protesters or advocates like the Biden administration did, and trying to put them in jail for years and years and years. Now, Pam was the only one who got John Fetterman, only Democrat who jumped over and supported her. Now, Russell Vought, who is for the Office of the Management of the Budget, had severe opposition from Democrats. Really just, they did a lot, they put him as an architect of Project 2025, really lashed out against him, but ultimately was able to get across the line with all Republican support. Now, a couple of the people who Trump has nominated, the big names that we're going to try and look at, Robert Kennedy with HHS. Obviously, right now I believe that there's going to be a vote for him and Tulsi Gabbard this week. It can be confirmed that the votes for them will both be this week. Tulsi, just today, the 10th, passed her last procedural hurdle, which means within the next 30 hours, it has to be 30 hours until it'll get voted on for her. But Robert Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, those are going to be big names. Obviously, there was severe opposition from the Democrats and some moderate Republicans like Bill Cassidy. And we did hear today that Tulsi Gabbard, Susan Collins will support Tulsi Gabbard, which that's huge for DNI. A big name that's been kind of quiet is Linda McMahon. Now, obviously, Trump wants to do away with the Department of Education. There's going to need to be an act of Congress in order for that to happen. And he's said that he wants her to do such a good job. She puts herself out of a job. But as of right now, there has not been a hearing that has been set for her. So kind of wondering what's going on. Obviously, I think there was something about an ethics report that they were waiting to get some more information back on. So we'll kind of see how this all plays out with Linda McMahon. But obviously, Education Secretary, that's a big one. And then Kash Patel for, let's see. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, am I just stupid? Am I not seeing this? Let's see. CIA. Huh, they don't have Kash Patel on here. Let's see. That's interesting. They do not have no Kash Patel. Well, what I can tell you about Kash Patel is that last week the Democrats invoked a rule in the Senate Judiciary Committee that basically delayed a vote on Patel to leave the committee by 1 week. It's a holdover rule. So we'll most likely see by Wednesday or Thursday, see the vote inside of the committee. Hopefully by this weekend, we will see a full Senate vote on Kash Patel to get in there and really gut the deep state, gut the FBI, and go after the major opposition that's in the FBI. Now you can see here what Democrats and what Republicans have voted with Trump. You know, the only 3 Democrats who have voted against a Trump nominee: Collins, McConnell, Murkowski. And then you get down to the Democrats, where you have a big chunk of them where they only voted for Rubio, obviously. But let's see what Democrats have voted the most for Trump's nominees. Wow. John Fetterman didn't vote on 3 of them, but so far he's got 8 that he did vote for. Let's see. Angus King from Maine has got 7. Janine Shaheen has 8. Maggie Hassan, 8. Let's see. Ruben Gallego, 8. And look at these. You see the people who are closer to this side: Fetterman, Angus King, New Hampshire. Now, obviously, not up for re-election soon, but these are people who are more in the swing states. You look at Fetterman. New Hampshire's going to be a swing state this time around in the 2026 midterms. Arizona, obviously he just won re-election, but he's still from Arizona. Mark Kelly, same thing, from Arizona. Tim Kaine from Virginia. John Ossoff, this might hurt him a little bit. He's up for re-election, and it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. But you can obviously see most Democrats have not supported Trump's nominees. And if they have, they've supported more of the moderate nominees, not as much the controversial, the Kash Patels. And obviously we haven't seen a vote, but we're most likely not going to see them, any of the Democrats, support these kind of more out there nominees: Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. We're just not going to see it at this point. But let me know, what are your thoughts below in the comments on RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's nominees so far, and how they've got over the finish line. And always, go down below, hit that like button, hit that share button, and that subscribe button. And until next time.